In rural areas, we, among other things I mentioned, which is credit is sold with basic savings remittances card.
Okay.
Yeah. And essentially those or a recurring deposit.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the kinds of things, and micro insurance.
Microinsurance. Okay.
So in rural, that's how we are sort of cross-selling. Come more this side, then you're doing other financial products. You're other than insurance, you're doing other financial products. Yeah, also cross-selling. So you're cross-selling mutual funds, etc., etc.
Right.
In addition, so you're basically then targeting the wallet of a customer and saying how you will manage that wallet. And so it varies with the kind of segment you're attacking. But then, like I said, ultimately, our ability to grow over time will depend on our ability to raise low-cost liabilities or raise liabilities. And therefore, literally every engine of the bank has to cross-sell that piece.
Exactly.
So, like I said, corporates have to also target liabilities, which are the current accounts and the salary accounts. The commercial guys also have to target that through the wallets of the entrepreneurs and the executives.
Executives, right.
And the retail branch banking guys also have to more directly attack that wallet. Yeah. So all of them have to do that. You should also have a strong risk management structure. It's not just a question of human judgment. I mean, it starts by putting a very strong overall framework in place. And that framework is both, if I may say, it relies on technology and scoring models and all of that. And it also relies heavily on the kind of underwriting standards that you put in place, which are proactively put in place. So I think if you put those tight filters and tight standards, then what will pass through that funnel,
that will be fun.
yeah, will be more cleaner stuff. And even then there should be other filters in place to detect sort of what you call early warning, signals and others. So we have processes for that too. So at every stage, we call them, you can call them 4 eyes or various lines of defense or whichever language you want to use. The fact of the matter is they should be in place and they should work. So you have all that in place, and I think we have a very rigorous, if I may say, risk management framework in place. And really, if somebody looks at it, then one will say, yes, this should hold up well. Our business mix is very clear. We have about 30% corporate, 30% SME, and about 40% what we call non-wholesale, which is of which 75% of that is our rural banking, financial inclusion and development micro banking exposure. And that piece is growing faster than the wholesale banking. Yeah. So it's making our portfolio more granular, more diversified and more spread out in that sense. It all goes back to customer selection, your basic credit framework, risk frameworks, your understanding of the business models of the customers you have selected, your ability to structure facilities which are linked to the business and cash cycles of the companies that you choose to finance. I mean, my point is, what are you financing? If you're financing the core business of a company and linking your exposure to its cash cycle, then you will mitigate the risk of what, And if you stay close to your customer and monitor them closely and tightly, then in all likelihood you will be the first to know if something is going wrong. Yeah. And when you are the first to know, you get an opportunity to manage it also.
Exactly.
Okay, if you are usually late in knowing, then you are stuck.
Then you're stuck, exactly.
So that's the real game, how you must be first to know.
Right.
And so that's the whole game. And I think when we look at it that way, ultimately you look at a sort of a rating, of your. So we have our own internal way of ultimately arriving at rating our portfolio. So I think today it stands at a very healthy level. So, I mean, if I take a weighted average portfolio, I mean, rating of my entire portfolio,
Right.
it is one notch above
Okay.
or 1.5 notches above investment grade.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay.
You see,
So that's safe.
so I have a lot of cushion.
Cushion. Yeah.
Even if I drop one level, then I still
You still be
still at investment
grade, right?
Yes. And this is also targeted.
Right.
We have set these benchmarks in place prior.
Exactly.
So if it is one notch above investment grade, is our target
Exactly.
for the entire portfolio.
Exactly.
So some will be above that, some will be slightly below that, but the weighted average will be
above that.
slightly above that. When the direction starts moving negative,
Right.
we start breaking.
Breaking it.
You know,
Exactly. Right.
so that we move it back there before we grow further.
Further. Exactly. I get it.
So it's working like that. So it is scientifically done,
Right.
and it is closely monitored. No, we need capital.
Need capital.
We don't need capital desperately.
Desperately. Exactly. Yeah.
But we will need capital. So we are not
Doing it for capital.
we're doing it for growth eventually.
Exactly.
And that's the reason we are going to do it. The point I'm saying is that it's a significant number. And look, the way we are growing, in 2-3 years we'll utilize the capital. So right now we are good because we are all tier 1 capital.
Exactly.
And we are quite adequate. We are above 13% and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is the pace at which we are growing,
Right. You will need money.
we will need capital, to grow. And then once we take it, we should take enough to last us at least 2-3 years,
Right. Exactly.
So that will be the way we will plan it out. All the, it depends on how many people consider how. But if I may say, the top 5, top 8, top 10 are all staying. But even so, if you look at it from their point of view, in this 3 to 4 year period, they made a very good return. Perhaps better than any other. Yeah. So there could be a temptation to cash out. But I think because by nature they are long-term institutional investors, and they are what we call long-term patient investors, they will continue to support and back us, and that's what we want. All of that, fortunately, could think, I look back with a lot of sense of gratification and I believe good fortune. In the sense that you could look at it, these 4 years were the most difficult years from the point of view of the economy. Things were not good.
Right.
Banking industry was getting affected because of not just the slowdown but also the asset quality issues that have, not just surfaced but they are now so substantial.
Right.
And at a time like this, when we are trying to, then, like you said, some of the legacy issues that were there. So, but I think the approach that we had was one, big thinking, big picture. Not think in terms of small steps. Think in terms of taking the bank from X to 10X. That kind of high level thinking. And at a people level, very inclusive.
Exactly.
So I think, I don't want to comment on others who tried and not succeeded, but I think we succeeded because we carried everybody along.
Exactly.
The macro and the very micro together.
Right.
How do you deal with strategic issues, big issues, very macro issues? At the same time, when you got to execute, at a very, very, very micro level. One, two, the different worlds that you need to. The retail, the agri, the large corporate, the institutional, they are all different, very different segments. In a foreign bank, you don't go down there. You only stay up there. See, these are issues which, if they are negative for you, they'll remain negative for you.
Exactly.
But if you look at them differently, for instance, I travel by train all the time now. But I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it even in my younger days. Even before Bank of America and everything. I would love train travel. I love taking car rides 5-6 hours, going into hinterland. I love nature, and I love people. I love food. Not just a kind of food. You take me to any part of the country. I love the local cuisine. I enjoy it. I simply love to be with people. But I had visited every part of India in my younger days. That is how we were brought up. We were brought up like that.
Exactly.
That you should know your country, you should know every part of your country. I have done mountaineering, I have done trekking, I have done so many things. So I have done bicycle trips from Delhi to Nainital, you know, lived in the villages, never stayed in even guest houses, you know, we've roughed it out.
Exactly.
So this was the fun of growing up.
Exactly.
But this can happen when you have that kind of a background.
Exactly.
You know,
Very true,
yeah.
You just can't. Have
Yeah,
it.
so this is one side of life where we get exposure of this nature. So when you go back to it, you know, I have gone back to it very happily. To me, some of the purest, most easy conversations and relationships are with these people. You know, you understand? It is so much easier. It's very difficult to manage a bunch of, you know, very aggressive, fast track, you know, super MBA types. You know what I'm saying?
Get your points.
Yeah, more difficult because their whole expectation levels are so high, and if they want everything like as of yesterday, you know, yeah, they want growth, they want money, they want everything. Whereas out there it's not like that. Yeah, so it's so much easier. And if you can bring them into your fold, and you can relate to them one on one, it's easy to create mutual satisfaction.
Very true.
Are you with me?
Okay,
It doesn't take much.
No, yeah,
It
exactly.
takes
It's easier to get them on the page, basically.
absolutely, because that's the fun of it. I said, if you think that this is my cake, you know, I have to cut it, you'll take some, I'll take some, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
But if I make the cake 10 times the size,
Then why? Yeah. Exactly.
why should we be insecure?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, don't worry. I said, I will bring enough to the table. I know how to raise capital. I know how to bring talent. I know how to get resources.
Right.
I'll do that part. Whereas you guys do what you know what to do and keep doing it well. If you need training, we'll have training. If you need other skills, we'll create those opportunities. But let's do this together. Otherwise, no fun.
Exactly.
No fun. So why watch something which is yours?
Exactly.
Why watch it sort of just, you know, wither away?
Exactly.
There's no fun. And I think that's what is going wrong in some of the other undermanaged places, where they treat it as if these yours, mine, you know, half the problem is there.
True.
You know, if you don't look at things that way, say this, okay, today we have only so much, but we will have so much more in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Then there'll be enough for everybody.
Exactly.
So then it's a question of patience. And that's what our so-called middle class values teach us. You know, work hard, be patient, sooner or later some fruits will fall, you know, in your lap. I mean, 90% of my colleagues and partners here have a very similar approach to life.
Exactly.
And what I feel good about is we could come together. Like-minded people with similar upbringing and value system could come together and work towards it. Then only it succeeds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
This
you
is
can't have people moving
no single 2 or 5 people do this. You know, you need many to make it happen, and you really need many to make it happen. You know, so you some lead, some follow, some support, but you need all kinds.